Okay, so this is the second film review of the day. We won't be doing two a day, probably one a week from this point forward. Also, we're not just going to review films that are currently out at the cinema because, let's be honest, we have a massive selection. It's like a mini blockbuster in here. I think we could possibly have a business venture, invite the people into the flat, take a DVD for £2 a night. We would be minted. But ignoring the DVDs on the shelf, we're going to review a film which was out recently called Bridesmaids. Now, I thought it was perhaps the funniest thing I've ever seen at the cinema. I was laughing out loud, almost laughed so much I was sick.
He was wetting himself.
Sick, vomit, same thing. Poo, not wanting to use that word too often.
General crassness.
I was laughing a lot. We'll get into the reasons a little bit later on. But, Mark, please can I have a quick plot outline as always?
Okay, so a very quick plot outline. A lady is getting married. She chooses her best friend to be chief bridesmaid. However, she has another friend who chief bridesmaid doesn't necessarily get on with and feels is trying to steal her away from her. And it's all related to the build up to the wedding.
Okay, so it's a Friday night, we're in the cinema, there's a nice atmosphere in the air. Can you remember the beginning of the film and did it capture your attention and interest?
I can't remember the beginning of the film, it was quite a while ago.
Nor can I, to be honest.
Let me think. I mean, this is, I'd say...
Something about cakes.
Yeah, this is more of a reflection of our memory than of the film.
I don't think the beginning's necessarily important. We've captured the plot.
She's in bed with some guy.
She is in bed with some guy, and that guy is a bit of a bastard.
He's a complete tosser.
Yes, I wouldn't say a key character.
I would say, actually, that's one of the funniest moments in the film. It's in the trailer. When he's just finished boffing her, and he's basically says, "It's really awkward, but I kind of want you to go, but I don't want to seem like a dick," and that sums his character up perfectly.
So we mentioned one character. I suppose he's more of a background character, but did the rest of them seem real? You have sort of, can't remember the numbers.
Well,
actually, but six bridesmaids.
Well,
there was 6.
I mean, it depends. I mean, there's the larger one, who is clearly, she's clearly an extreme character. She's not realistic. But I mean,
extreme in terms of size or personality.
She's on the larger side. I don't think she's massive, but she does have a very big personality. She's a little bit strange. She's a bit mental. They're clearly going for a
Zach Galifianakis, if that's his name.
Yeah,
like that
the bearded one in Hangover. I can't remember what his character name is.
Oh, I can't remember, but he is the quotation marks flickering above my head funny character in The Hangover. Did the character's actions make sense? I suppose we had scenes whereby they were shitting and vomiting in a bridal wear shop.
Would
that happen?
That was in a brilliant white bride gown. And to be honest, Rob wasn't the only one wetting himself, because I thought that bit was particularly funny, especially when one of them, don't want to ruin it, but one of them gets sick on the top of her head. I don't know why I thought that was hilarious.
It was just non-stop bad human sort of goo coming out of different orifices for the sort of 10-minute scene. I thought it was brilliant, and I'm not really into that sort of humour.
I would say as well, that's the whole film. I don't think we should paint a picture that the whole film was like that, because that was the only real scene that had that kind of gross out humour, which is quite surprising because I didn't think it stuck out as it not fitting in with the rest of the film. I really enjoyed it, that particular scene.
Did the plot flow? Were you kind of find it interesting?
It did flow. I did find it interesting. I thought it was a little bit too long, because my interest towards the end definitely started to wane a little bit, and I was like, go with it a little bit. Go with the actual wedding.
So you had the sort of the wedding was the end point of the film. You had this sort of the rivalry between the two bridesmaids, and or that sort of thing. But were there any side plots of interest? Or was it just purely focused on the wedding?
Well, I personally found the sign. There's a scene with I don't know what that's the name. It's the Irish policeman who falls in love with the main character. I mean, you can kind of see it coming from a mile off, so I'm not giving anything away. And I actually personally found that a little bit more interesting than the wedding story. I found a lot of it feeling quite a lot of sympathy for the policeman, and I really wanted him to finish happily. And though that wasn't like the main point of the story, it was a big point.
I was going to ask a question about, were there any unnecessary scenes that did not fit? We've talked about the bridal wear scene where everyone's sort of having problems after a dodgy restaurant episode. I would say the scenes that made the most sense were in terms of the chief bridesmaid and her love interest, the Irish policeman. I thought that was well thought out, of sort of a real relationship ethos to that. So
I would say there's a scene near the end where at the actual wedding where everyone has a massive group sing along.
Oh yes, I did enjoy that.
I personally found it agony. I couldn't watch it. I was cringing. It was brutal.
I enjoyed that song, and I can't remember who the song is by, so later on I will go and Google and put in Bridesmaids wedding song, and hopefully it will prompt me to the name of the song.
Me, that was the worst part of the whole film, because I literally couldn't watch it. It was like one of the scenes. It was like Ricky Gervais doing the dance in The Office. I was just cringing.
I didn't find it cringe-worthy at all. I thoroughly enjoyed that scene. It was nice, I suppose. Would you watch it again?
No, I don't think I would. Just because it is... But due to the length, basically, I feel when a film is that long, it needs to have something to say and something to make you think. And I think when a film is as light-hearted as this, it should be about an hour and a half. And this was quite over 2 hours. And it's not... It's the kind of film that you should be able to just sit and watch it, but it's too long to be able to just sit and watch it.
I would agree with that. It was too long. I don't want to watch it again because prior to the film I had a quite strong Japanese beer, and maybe that contributed to the amount of laughter that came out of my mouth. So if I watched it again I might be a bit disappointed. It's not a film you can watch on a Sunday afternoon like Bad Teacher, which is, I would say, a perfect length of an hour and a half. But if you're about to get married and want a bit of insight, unrealistic insight, maybe watch it again.
It might ease your stresses a little bit. I would say I do like Rose Byrne quite a lot as well. She's gorgeous, and she did a good job.
Was she the one in Insidious?
She was the one in Insidious. She plays the friend who's trying to steal the bride away.
I think Insidious will be reviewed because that scared the shit out of me.
It scared the living
we'll get to that film on another occasion. As always, we'll end with scores out of 10. Mark, what would you give it out of 10? Bridesmaids, 1 to 10. You can do halves.
I've got it. 5.
5. I gave it an 8, but maybe that was the beer talking. With hindsight, strong 7.
Out of curiosity, what would you give Hangover, the first one?
Hangover, the first one, would get an 8.
So you
that set the mould for this type of film, and I thoroughly enjoyed The Hangover, and I would watch The Hangover again and again and again.
Yeah,
that is easier viewing. No side storylines which are more thoughtful, as in Bridesmaids, and I'll be honest, if I want thoughtful, I'd watch The Green Mile.
Yeah, see you guys later.